YouTube's Darkest Channel 6. You guys ready to get depressed? Scared? You ready to shit yourself? Ready to go poopy? You need your diaper change? You need your diaper? You need a stinky? You got a little stinky in there? You want me to change you? You want to change? You need changed? Huh? You got a little dumpy in there? Your diaper's looking pretty droopy.
Can you fart so hard your butt
That's a pretty
Shut
droopy.
Up, bitch. Oh my god.
Thank you, Princess Lemon Drop.
Hi everybody, this is Cheyenne.
Cheyenne Kircher was 14 years old when she disappeared.
You know, I'm really bored. I wonder if I got anything to do. I know what I can do.
October
We're not doing that.
2011.
Is it over?
Flyers are placed
Okay,
around the small
it's over.
town of East Dubuque, Illinois, asking residents for their help in finding a missing 14-year-old girl named Cheyenne Kircher. A well-known member of the community with a notoriously troubled home life, it was perhaps unsurprising when her family woke to find the girl had vanished, leaving behind just a single note.
All right, no more. That's the only one we're doing this time. If it happens again, then that's it. It's over. All right?
Notoriously troubled home life, it was perhaps unsurprising when her family woke to find the girl had vanished, leaving behind just a single note stating, "Mom and Dad, you haven't done nothing wrong, but by the time you get this letter, I will be gone. Don't worry about me, I will always love you. You won't find me because I don't want to be found. So at last I say goodbye.
Oh.
Love, Shy." The handwriting was hers, and most importantly, forensic analysts determined that it was not written under any sort of
What does this have to do with
duress, making
channels?
Cheyenne's
Oh,
case
shit.
rather clean cut. She was a runaway, and had left, at least partially, of her own volition. But why exactly did she leave, and where exactly had she gone? Questions that only grew more pressing as the days turned to weeks, and then months. And before the town knew it, Cheyenne Kircher had been missing for an entire year. And aside
Jesus.
from one single note, left in the time period prior to her disappearance, Cheyenne had managed to leave essentially no trail behind. That is, in the physical world at least.
Hi everybody, this is the new profile of Shy Shylin Show.
Despite being described as a fairly socially awkward kid, Cheyenne had found comfort in the world of social media. She frequently posted to her Facebook page and her multiple YouTube channels, which even today sit practically unheard of, with her very first channel hosting just 4 subscribers. But by discovering these accounts, investigators in turn were able to catch a glimpse into what life was like for Cheyenne in the years and months leading to her disappearance.
Okay, first of all, I want to say, why the hell was she able to just get up and leave with like not a single? Why did he make it sound like the parents just didn't give a shit? Like, it made it sound like the cops were just like, oh, she just ran away, whatever. Like, and the parents were like, oh, she ran away, whatever. She'll probably come back. Like there was no like, oh, and there was a huge search. They spent months and months trying to find her. No, all he said was like, oh, before they knew it, she was gone for a month and now a year. Like, do they just ignore it? They just ignore it? Like, I don't.
With this trail eventually guiding them to one video in particular, a video that exposed a grim secret within the case that stood before them. Whether they knew it or not, when they first found these YouTube channels, they had simultaneously stumbled across the smoking gun and Cheyenne Kircher's disappearance, and inadvertently, one of the darkest channels across all of YouTube.
Dad, look around. I don't want you getting caught in the camera.
I thought a lot with my nephew. They didn't care when he ran away usually. That's not good. It's not a good thing. Like, don't get me wrong. I get when parents are like, oh, do your whole whiny spiel. Oh, I'm going to leave. But they don't actually let them go. Like kids do that. Kids do. Like kids will literally be like, I'm done with this. I'm done with this crap. I'm leaving. And then the parents like, fine, go ahead. See what happens. And then they don't go. But if they actually go, obviously a good parent will stop them. Like, I don't understand.
Flying accident happened around 3:30.
I came to a realization of something.
I ran over there. I'm bleeding
you stay here at the moment.
Okay.
I don't know what happened.
Before we get too far into this, I want to thank
They'll
today's
come back
sponsor,
when they're
PDS
hungry.
Debt, for helping to make this content financial.
Hey, I got offered that sponsorship. I actually might do that sponsorship. So no offense to Nick Crowley, use my code instead. Right? I'm sorry, Crowley. I gotta get mine.
Action.
To some, it came as little surprise that Cheyenne would want to leave the house where she had grown up. Cheyenne had lived there with her 3 siblings and her mother, Lori Lyons. And though she never met her biological father, Lori had remarried to a man named Terry Abbas, whom Cheyenne referred to as her dad. But making things a bit more confusing was the fact that Terry wasn't the only adult man
Get that
happened to be
bag?
living
No,
with her.
it's not get that bag. It's get the food on the table. That's what it is. I ain't getting no bag. I'm putting food on the table. That's what I'm
Since
doing.
Lori also had her boyfriend, Steve Staver, living with the family as well. This isn't inherently a major issue, but it was something that was criticized by locals who
Get
knew
that
of their
bag of
domestic
food.
situation, and
Food
likely by
bag.
Cheyenne's classmates as well. But on the topic of said living arrangements,
Thank you,
this was
harpsichord.
far from the most glaring red flag, with that coming in the form of the house itself. When investigators visited the home to interview Cheyenne's family, they were greeted with what one described as the worst smells he had ever experienced. All throughout the house were heaps of trash,
Oh!
dirty laundry, filth, and that unbearable stench. The living conditions were horrendous. Between this, the strange household
My house.
dynamic, and
Dude, this is what Amy thinks our house looks like. Like our house. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like we do need to clean more, but she panics a little bit about how clean our house is. Like, look at this shit, right? Like our house is good. It's clean as shit compared to some people.
that note
you know?
left behind, this seemed to be as straightforward as a runaway case could get. Though it wasn't quite that simple.
Dude,
When
cleaning's
police were
hard,
searching
man.
around the home,
Cleaning
they
takes a lot
realized
of
that
work.
Cheyenne had left behind her cell phone, which she was supposedly glued to at all
Don't
times.
compare yourself to hoarders. Shut up. I can do whatever the hell I want.
But even stranger, she left her jacket, as well as her shoes, which seemed bizarre considering that winter was quickly
I clean once a week. We clean every fucking day, and it's not enough, Chad. Like I don't think you guys understand. We have like 10 fucking animals, all right? We literally have to clean like hours every day, and it's not enough. Like that I hate it. I hate it, man.
approaching.
Too
and
much
temperatures
work.
were hovering around freezing at this point. So the idea of leaving the house without either of these items made little sense at all, hinting to law enforcement that there may be more to this story than what meets the eye, prompting them to begin poking around her history on social media.
Welcome to that childhood. Okay. Hi. I don't know. I'm Zilla.
Starting almost exactly a year before she vanished, Cheyenne began posting goofy, nonsensical videos to her very first YouTube channel, Cheyenne 2010.
But that's it. Oh, the camera fell on my face.
The clips here show Cheyenne's personality, as she's often seen joking around and doing various skits. And though they seem fairly incoherent all these years later, for a child at her age back in 2011, this was the standard for small personal channels. And you can tell that she
Very
clearly
true.
just enjoyed creating this content,
Classic
using the
YouTube
channel
moment.
as sort of an outlet to get thoughts and emotions out into the world, even if practically no one was watching. But dealing with her disappearance specifically, things became far more noteworthy on February 19th, 2011, when Cheyenne launched another YouTube channel called Shy Love 2011.
But somebody had took my account, but I'm back on air and I'm ready to make shows.
The channel was essentially a continuation of her previous account, but eventually she would introduce a new style of content, one that featured her family members as stars of the show. On numerous occasions, we see her younger siblings and her older brother joining in on the fun, with the group all
Something's
seeming to
gonna
have
go
a great
bad here.
dynamic
I don't like
together,
this.
acting exactly the way you would expect of siblings their
Who would have
age.
thought? Who would have thought a video called YouTube's Darkest Channels would actually like see? I'm so smart. I'm so smart. How could I predict that something bad's gonna happen? How is it possible that I could predict that something bad's gonna happen here? It's crazy. It's crazy how smart I am.
Ow, you
But by far her most frequent guest was one who rarely, if ever, appeared willingly, and instead would be caught in the background, working at his desk or coming in and out of the room where Cheyenne was filming, with that being Terry Abbas, her stepfather.
That's my brother, Riley. That's that creepy guy that lives downstairs. Oh, I mean, my stepdad, Terry.
Due to the crowded living conditions of her home, Cheyenne never really had her own environment to film in, so she made do with Terry sitting in the background, even throwing some jokes his way as the two would frequently bicker about him being caught on the camera.
There's been a lot of things changing over the news. Dad, look around, please. I don't want you getting caught in the camera.
Shine, why don't you be quiet? I am.
Okay, whatever.
Doing my business.
Okay.
But this never really went past anything other than standard family hostilities. In fact, Cheyenne seemed to love the man that she called dad.
Yeah, I feel like that statement alone, the creepy guy that lives downstairs, I mean my dad, is like...
Shut up, bitch!
Pretty telling.
Posting about him on numerous occasions across her Facebook page. And as investigators followed the trail across her channel, it seemed that the content on her YouTube page was leading them straight towards a dead end. Until they found the video.
You know, I'm really bored. I wonder if I got anything to do.
A livestream was posted to Cheyenne's channel that spanned just 3 minutes and 35 seconds, with a clip beginning exactly how you'd expect from Cheyenne, before her video is interrupted.
I know what I can do!
As she carried out her introduction to this live video, a man suddenly enters the room with only his lower half in frame. Immediately, Cheyenne turns to him, and her loud, energetic personality does a total 180. She goes quiet, before grabbing the man's arms and whispering, "I'm on a live stream. Be careful."
Huh?
The man acknowledges this with a simple okay, but then proceeds to grab her by what appears to be the neck. This causes Cheyenne to yell stop before falling onto the bed and snapping back into her comedic personality.
Stop! Did I say you were in this? No, you weren't.
The man then approaches again and begins slap fighting with her, now switching his personality as well, as he starts playing into the joke, very obviously performing for the camera.
I don't like this.
No, he's not abusing.
I don't like where this is going.
Stop!
Yes, I am. I'll pull her out.
No!
Alright.
See what I have to go through every day?
The man then leaves after exchanging a few more words.
I don't like
and
what's
Cheyenne
happening
continues
here.
The video as usual.
I don't like this.
I don't know what you were going to do today. Can any of my viewers tell me what should I do?
This would be the last video Cheyenne Kircher would ever upload to YouTube. And months later, she would vanish, never to be seen again.
I'm feeling icky. I
The
don't
video
like it.
insinuates so much. The closeness of the man, the secrecy of it, the way he approached her, and the sudden change in energy from Cheyenne. It all spoke so loudly as to what was happening here, and what had been happening to Cheyenne at the hands of her own stepfather, Terry Abbas.
As you will see, hi Dad.
Dad, look around, please. I don't want you getting caught in the camera.
That's that creepy guy that lives downstairs. Oh, I mean, my stepdad, Terry.
Cheyenne's home life truly was troubled, even more so than detectives could have ever imagined, as they began uncovering stories where Terry had supposedly been spying on Cheyenne in the bathroom, with these accounts eventually growing more and more heinous, as it was eventually alleged that Terry had begun with this moment captured on Cheyenne's livestream, likely being the attempted start of another attack. Only this time, Cheyenne was saved by the camera, if only for a moment. So with this, investigators called Terry in to speak with him as to what really led to Cheyenne going missing, already knowing at this point that he had likely been for years now. And as Terry sat down for his interrogation, it would not take long for the truth to reveal itself.
Well, you got your man.
What the fuck does that mean?
Terry Abbas. Cheyenne is not with us. She's gone. Before I knew it, I was standing over a body. Last thing I remember, my head was over her neck for some reason. Just over her neck. Doing what?
Michigan!
Thank you, Pigeon Peak. Thank you. Oh.
Squeeze it, I guess.
As Cheyenne began to grow older, Terry knew that
Oh
the
God,
things
I
he had been
timed that bad. It's not your fault. All right, it's not your fault.
doing to her were at a greater risk than ever of being exposed to the world.
Oh my God,
and Terry didn't
dude.
trust her to keep that secret. So he had to take care of
I
it.
honestly, like, I was in the back of my head the whole time thinking, oh, he probably killed her. But I was just hoping that, like, oh, maybe she ran away because he was abusive. And, like, it was released that, like, he did terrible stuff. But nope.
Things himself. One night, he would go into the woods behind the family's home and begin digging, carving out a large hole multiple feet below the surface, the perfect size for a body. The next morning, he would then lure Cheyenne outside of the house under the guise of playing a game. And once they were sufficiently away from the home and covered by thick brush, he wrapped his hands around her neck and began to squeeze, ending her life right then and there before proceeding to bury her body in that pre-dug grave. But if this was the case, then how do you explain the note? Well, to show just how premeditated this all was, about a month before she had vanished, Cheyenne was told by Terry that they were going to pull a prank on her mother. One where she would pretend to run away, leaving behind only a note.
Where's her
But
mom
rather
in
than
all
going
this,
through with
though?
the prank, Terry decided to instead keep that note for a later date, thus giving him the perfect decoy to take any suspicion off him once he carried through with a murder. Terry Abbas was eventually sentenced to life in prison, where he
Good.
will rot away for the rest of his days.
Good.
The context of it all makes the videos across her channel that much more unsettling, with the worst being that final upload. But what's perhaps most disturbing is that this was just one brief moment in what was likely a constant stream of abuse.
Where's Mama? That's what I'm saying.
Think of all that Cheyenne had to endure.
Why did he do it,
when the
though? I don't
cameras
know.
weren't.
I don't think anyone knows. The dude's just a fucking weirdo, a psychopath.
Okay? Bye.
June 3rd, 2009. 15-year-old Roman Perozic Jr. fires up his remote-controlled helicopter at a small Brooklyn, New York park, while his friend stands by closely with a camera trained at the device. For many, RC flying is viewed as nothing more than a recreational activity, but for Roman, this was more than just a hobby. It was his life, and his passion and practice gave him the ability to perform tricks that, to an outside observer, seem utterly impossible.
All right, let me see it. Let me see it. Not impressed. Not impressed. I could do that easy. That's nothing. Not impressed. No.
When Roman's helicopter was in the air, it was as if gravity itself failed to exist, performing stunts that seemed to defy physics, turning the craft sideways,
Easy peasy,
zigzagging it
come on.
backwards, even
Let's
upside
see you
down
try.
in a completely unnatural
guys,
manner.
buy me a fancy RC helicopter. I'll show you. All right, it's easy.
Before stopping it on a
It's just like putting cheat codes into GTA San Andreas when you were younger. Just up, down, left, right, A, B. You know, just that's pretty much all it is. Just
dime
muscle
with
memory. It's
expert
it.
precision.
Simple.
On
Easy.
YouTube, you can find traces of his work all over, with many videos being posted by various amazed observers,
IRL cheats,
along
yeah.
with clips posted to his own
You need a new
YouTube
mic
channel.
first. My microphone is completely fine. Shut up.
With this initial upload being his first introduction to YouTube. Through his videos and various public showings, Roman
Seems
was
a
already
bit cocky. I don't know. Who do you think you are?
asparagus.
I am as humble as they come. I am so goddamn humble. You wish. You fucking wish you were as humble as me. Don't you dare come at me and say I'm cocky, because I'm humble. I'm humbler than you.
Call me asparagus.
becoming known as one of the most compelling pilots in the entire community.
Wait,
and despite his youth, this actually isn't as surprising as it may seem. Flying was in his blood.
Thank you,
His
Super.
father, Roman Perozic Sr., was a passionate RC pilot himself, even founding and leading a New York City-based club for fellow RC enthusiasts. Over the years, he would teach his son all there was to know about this unique sport, with the two often traveling and competing in various events across the country, and flying recreationally together nearly every single weekend. documenting many of these outings across the Roman Perozic Jr. channel. But while it's easy to appreciate the talent involved with flying in such a manner, there was an element at play with these tricks that is easy to overlook, especially by simply watching the videos.
Oh, see?
With that being,
See?
the element of danger.
Oh.
Unlike most RC helicopters that you would expect to see in stores that are mainly geared towards children, the device that Roman was flying is much, much bigger, with the craft measuring in at nearly 3 feet long, featuring blades of a similar size that were made entirely out of carbon fiber. These devices were large and, most importantly, powerful, as it's estimated that this specific craft Roman was using could reach speeds of up to 60 miles per hour, while the blades themselves spun at speeds of over 250 miles per hour, rotating 4,000 times in just a single minute. This craft was not a toy, with pilots online likening it to a flying lawnmower. And with that context, it does make these videos a bit
Is this going to be a
nerve-wracking.
situation where it like flies into his face and he gets decapitated or something? It's going to be one of those?
As Roman can be seen flying dangerously close to himself and others on numerous occasions. But of all the various stunts he'd perform, there was one that was by far the most daring. For the trick, Roman would flip his helicopter upside down, managing to keep it in the air all the while, before shooting it upwards as high as it could go, and when it was just nearly out of sight, he would then cut the power, causing the craft to free fall to the ground below, only for Roman to fire it back up and catch the device right before it crash landed. Throughout his channel, I could only find a few examples of him performing that trick, likely due to its high level of danger not only for this expensive machine, but also for himself and the others around him. Though on the 6th of September...
See, I don't get it, because like, if the bro's so skilled, why not just make it fall away from you, or like further away from you or something? If he dies because it falls on his head, like, I don't know.
2003, Roman decided that it was time to give it another try. That day, Roman had been visiting the Calvert Vaux Park, his favorite flying spot in the entire city.
Don't tell me we get a first-person perspective of the helicopter cutting his head off, please.
He would fire up his helicopter and begin his usual run of tricks. Beside him was his father and 4 close friends who looked on as Roman executed yet another flawless run. And right...
Thank you.
Getting that momentum, he was ready to tackle his toughest stunt. Only there was a slight problem.
Wind?
According to one of the young men watching on, something strange began happening with the device. There was something wrong with the helicopter. I've seen many of Roman's videos. I was looking at the helicopter as it took off and had noticed strange oscillations. There was an imbalance somewhere there. Something was off slightly. It was minute. Whatever was happening with Roman's craft seemed minor, so much so that Roman himself didn't even notice it, or he didn't think that it would cause any issues, as he decided to perform the final trick anyway. And so he flipped the helicopter upside down, raised it up to the bright sky above him, and took his thumb off the controller. The helicopter then fell limp in the sky as it began its rapid plunge below, with Roman, his friends, and his father all watching on as it grew closer and closer to them. Before, he slammed his finger back on the control stick and fired up the rotors to catch the craft. Only he did so just a second too late.
So it did have... I knew it, dude! I freaking knew it, Lady Rage. Thank you so much for the gift.
Well, Christine, we are at Calvert Vaux Park, where this horrifying accident happened around 3:30 this afternoon. And it's where Roman Perozic and his friends came on a regular basis. But today, Perozic's flight, it took a horrible turn. Roman Perozic was out in this field on a picture-perfect Thursday, flying his model Chomper, when it came crashing down, the blade slashing his throat and killing him. The guy was
Oh! I wasn't far off. Up
there and we're not controlling. It decapitated him.
Oh! Oh! Okay, I guess I did call it. All right. I guess I did call it.
Call me asparagus.
I thought it just slit his throat. I didn't think. Oh.
With 4 friends, they all witnessed the horrifying crash.
Thank you, Cameron.
It's not fully understood what exactly happened, if it truly was some sort of mechanical issue, the wind speed, or if it was simply mistimed by Roman. But despite the helicopter turning on and its blades nearly instantly reaching their full speed, the craft was not able to stop in time to avoid a crash landing. And although the weather was clear and sunny that day, a strong breeze had pushed the craft towards Roman as it fell, meaning that instead of crashing on the grass in front of him, the RC helicopter instead would crash directly into him. The blade first struck Roman's face, impacting with such a strong force that it nearly cut his head clean in half, before the blade would then strike his neck, partially decapitating him. All the while, his friends and father watched on in horror.
Oh, his
Within
dad
a split
was
second,
there!
Roman Perozic Jr.
Oh,
was dead,
God.
killed by the very sport he loved so dearly.
Oh my God, dude. Oh, that's rough.
Ooh, savage burn.
When Roman posted his first video to YouTube,
That's rough.
there was no way of knowing where his passion would take him and what it would all lead to.
Shit.
And at this time, it's evident just how dark this channel has become due to the backstory surrounding it. But there's also another perspective here to consider, as through the darkness, there's actually something quite beautiful about his channel, as thanks to it, his incredible work has been forever immortalized. And despite Roman's death, his passion for piloting RC helicopters and his extraordinary skill will live on and continue to leave people amazed for years to come.
Thank you, Nutella. God damn, that was rough. That was rough. These have been
It started
rough.
with a simple video.
10 gifted subs. Oh, I needed a break. You know what? Honestly, I thank you. Thank you so much for gifting 10, and also thank you for just letting me pause and gather myself from this. Oh.
How's it going, guys? Today, I'm going to be talking about
Michigan.
Thank you,
fitness
super.
as a whole and the challenges it brings.
Posted by Austin Harriff, an 18-year-old college student living in Juniper, Florida, Fitness Challenges and Overcome was the inaugural upload to his YouTube channel called A Frost. Having lived his entire life in the area, Austin had developed a reputation locally for being goofy, but also intelligent and driven, finding a deep love for fitness upon taking up.
Is this the guy who ate the person's face? No, that guy didn't have a YouTube channel.
Football and bodybuilding at a young age. And in his first.
He said not fully decapitated, meaning his head was half off. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Nagasuku, and thank you, Witchy Lavender Moth, for interrupting that. I highly appreciate that someone interrupted me finishing that sentence, all right? Thank you. I'm glad, because I did not.
Shut up, bitch!
Thank you! South Dakota Sunshine! I don't want to read it! I don't want to have that. The picture's already in my head. I didn't see, that's the thing. I read it. I read it in silence to myself. So that image is now burned into my retinas, my frontal lobe.
What the hell are you talking about?
You don't want to know what I'm talking about. Read it. I'm not reading it. No, I am not traumatizing all of them, all right? They're already traumatized enough by watching me.
First upload, his passion and personality were on full display.
We do? All right, fine. Fine, I'll put this image in your head. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? He said not fully decapitated, meaning his head was half on and half off, and it was dangling as he fell to the grass. You happy? You happy? Now you think of a dangling head. Now you think of the dude's dangling head while blood is just gushing out. Yeah. Congrats. You fucking weirdos. Thank you, South Dakota Sunshine, again for gifting a sub.
As he shared his thoughts on the world of dieting and weightlifting, with the video's sole purpose being to help others who may want to follow in a similar path.
It's pretty tough,
dude,
man.
I love it. I love it because, like, I personally was like, ew to that, right? I was saying ew. And my chat's literally like, that's it? That's all to it? And then they start listing more shit. They start saying, it's like, oh, well, this and this, and oh, yeah, also this. Y'all are fucked up. Y'all are fucked up, okay? South Dakota Sunshine, thank you so much again for gifting a sub. Y'all are fucked up. That's what's wrong. Y'all got something wrong with you.
It's not easy, but...
Oh, that's it? That's all? Fucking weirdos.
Nothing in life worth having is easy. Remember that, guys. You
made
remember
us
that?
this way?
You remember that? I remember. You gotta promise me that you'll remember that.
It seemed apparent that Austin aspired to develop a career online as a fitness coach.
Another
and
gifted
despite this
sub.
being his first crack at launching a YouTube channel, he does come across as being articulate and likable. And aside from some general
Dakota, thank you so
awkwardness
much.
due to the lack of polished editing, Austin appears entirely normal. A stark contrast to what was soon to come.
It's not my fault, Chad. It's your fault.
Despite launching his
You're the weird
channel on a
ones, not
concise
me.
high note, the next 27 uploads would take on a much different tone, as rather than keying in on health and wellness, Austin immediately shifted his focus onto writing and performing rap music under his new alias, Frosty Frosty.
Let's go! Come on, let's go.
Michigan.
Right, Wicked, thank you so much for the tier 1.
This music is not for everyone.
What did you cut it off for? South Dakota Sunshine with 5 more gifted subs. Lovely me with a tier 1 sub. Why? What is happening? Why is there so many subs? What is going on? Harpsichord gifted 1,000 bits. Gifted. They gave 1,000 bits. I fucking told you! I told you! Wicked with 5 gifted subs.
Ooh, savage burn.
I warned you!
Better, a skilled mortician could make him look presentable so his parents wouldn't have to see him like that.
It doesn't make me feel better, actually.
Michigan.
Because guess what? His dad is the one who saw it. His dad was there. He witnessed the decapitation. Chloe Marie, thank you so much for the gifted sub.
Everyone, to the point where it's almost indiscernible from irony. However, the persistence of his uploading hints that this went far past your standard joking, as there were moments in these songs where it genuinely felt like it was coming from a different person entirely.
There's a hobo on the street corner, and he says, real talk, homeboy. Oi,
Someone who seemed somewhat
he's
disconnected
kinda
from reality,
spitting.
as hinted at further
He's kinda
when he eventually
spitting.
returned to the camera's forefront.
Yo, let him cook, though.
What's up, guys? Today, I'm going to talk about the ketogenic diet.
After his run of consecutive music uploads, Austin began appearing on camera yet again, where his once articulate and well-put-together self began moving and speaking more sporadically.
Yeah, he looks
and
like...
other low-starch vegetables like spinach. With my baby, with my baby, yeah. Get hoes, get money, get get suits, fly planes, run train. I'm a man.
Even his editing began to change.
South Dakota Sunshine, you know, is this what you guys think of me whenever I uploaded that robots video, and there is like a decently long succession of me not being insane like I normally do, and then I upload that robots video, and there's so many comments like, "Hey, bro, are you okay? Is there something wrong with you?" And then my response is, "Big well, baby. Yeah, dude. Big well. Big old ball."
With unusual clips being interjected for no discernible reason.
Thank you for the sub.
Ketosis helps your body get into this caloric deficit. Cutting carbohydrates may sound difficult.
Even given the small sample size, it was clear that Austin's behavior was changing. And although traces of this changing persona were starting to be seen on his YouTube channel, this behavioral shift was far more evident for those who knew him personally. Starting around the time that the A Frost channel had launched, Austin's once fun-loving personality became cold and hostile to those around him, which was mainly due to the fact that Austin began to experience what he would later call visions. He would turn off his lights to go to sleep at night, only to be met with the sight of demons and monsters who would approach him from the shadows. And soon, these creatures began appearing everywhere he went, especially
Wait, is he having a mental break?
Prompting Austin to stop sleeping, as he grew paranoid of what these things might do to him. As a result, his mental state fluctuated even more, and he soon thought that perhaps he was a divine being himself, a god of sorts, maybe even Jesus Christ.
Oh, he's turning into Dennis Red. Okay, yeah, that jokes aside, that sounds like a manic episode, or yeah, like a schizophrenic episode as well. Like paranoid schizophrenic. That's what it sounds like. That's crazy how like I don't really know how schizophrenia works. Is it like, does it have to do with like a moment in your life that triggers it, or I don't know.
Pig! If you continue to yell at your chat, I'm going to have to give you a firm but fair slap across both those cheeks.
Okay, well, first of all, your voice cracked in the beginning there, Zap Brannigan. So, I mean, what was that? What was that at the beginning? Pig! Like, puberty much?
Shut up, bitch!
Puberty much? Puberty? Wait, actually, while we're on the topic, wait, let me show you. Let me show you what I was, this is what Heath did to me after last stream with the Zap Brannigan shit. All right, we continue. Let's see what happens to this guy.
His descent was jarring and extremely concerning, and at the rate he was going, it seemed certain that
sexy gorilla with that insult.
That something was bound to snap, until a breakthrough.
I came to a realization of something. I no longer want to follow Arnold or any other bodybuilder.
Thank you for the sound, by the way.
I want to follow myself, you know? I want to actually believe in myself.
In his video entitled What I'm About in Bodybuilding,
Positive?
we see a side of Austin that hadn't come through since really his very first upload.
Positive?
As he sits down in front of the camera and just
Arnold
lets
is an
loose,
Arnold Schwarzenegger,
speaking candidly
right?
about his fitness journey and the path that he was on.
I just know that they're not me, you know? I know what's right for me. I don't need
Hold up. He's kind of cooking.
They can change me. But the thing is, that's not being healthy, you know?
True.
Being healthy is what's natural, you know?
He spoke of wanting to do things his way and how he was striving to be the most healthy version of himself, both physically and mentally. It's almost shocking how calm Austin seems here, just based on his prior uploads. But despite appearing like a positive sign on the surface, that Austin was
schizophrenic, he come in late teens, early 20s. Yeah, I'm just curious how it does it need a catalyst? Like, does like something need to happen where it's like a breaking point, or is it just a gradual descent into schizophrenia? I don't really know much about it. Just genetics? It could be hereditary? Oh, okay. It could just pop up?
perhaps finally getting the help.
I mean, yeah, he could have been on
there was
drugs,
still an
too.
air of
There is
uncertainty
that,
to
yeah.
it all. And there was
But,
really
I don't know,
no way
it
to
felt
know
very...
he's going to be in this
Dude, 5 more gifted subs. What is it? South Dakota Sunshine has gifted 32 subs already. Jeez. Jeez.
Video was a sign of better.
Peace out. Peace.
Uh-oh.
Or worse things to come. On the afternoon of August 15th, 2006...
Actually, I want to say that happens so many times, especially when it comes to, like, for example, people who have depression and are planning, like, suicide or something like that, is like a calm before the storm. It's like whenever they accept that they're going to do something mentally, like, their mental state clears up and they're, like, completely calm and chill right before they're about to do the thing. So whenever you guys see someone who is depressed all the time and like really, you know, doesn't want to talk to anyone, you can tell they're extremely depressed, they talk about it all the time, all of a sudden is just better, that's when you should be concerned. That's the scary part, is when all of a sudden they're just like happy and being nice to everyone, and like, that's when you know something fucked up's going on.
Austin had joined his father and his father's girlfriend out for a nice dinner, with the family taking their seats and waiting to place their orders. But Austin wanted no part of it, as he sat there silently, his mind stewing all the while, until he just couldn't take it anymore. For some reason, it was all just too much, and he stood up and left the establishment without saying more than a few words. Outside, he began to walk, then jog, and then run, sprinting in the direction of his mother's house, who lived nearby. He barged into the then empty home and felt the overwhelming urge to chug the nearest liquid he saw, but it wasn't alcohol or anything close.
Huh?
No, it was vegetable oil, as he guzzled down nearly a full bottle of it before leaving the home and heading back towards the restaurant, this time confronting his father, yelling and even attempting to hit him.
Oh my god, it is! It is the one I was thinking of! Oh, it is! It is the guy who ate the person's face, right? Oh, I knew he looked familiar. Oh, I didn't know he had a YouTube channel though. But when we watched the Ballin video, he never talked about the YouTube channel or anything like that. I don't think he did. That's what I've been saying. There's a lot of chatters, okay? I'm sorry I missed it.
For no apparent reason whatsoever. Once more, he just couldn't take it, and he fled the restaurant again, as his mind felt as if he was crumbling with each passing second.
Yep.
Until he got outside and was met by the sight of something utterly horrific. It looked like some sort of creature, standing there just staring at him. He screamed at the top of his lungs and began sprinting away into the dark night. He ran as fast as he could, desperately calling for help, desperately looking for help, until he saw a bright light in the distance. Salvation, he thought, as he sprinted towards it and then directly into the light.
Yeah, no drugs involved. This one is just mental manic
911,
state.
you need fire, police, or medical. Please, and medical. Don't open that, don't open that.
Fire rescue, what's your address?
Young man, a woman, across the street.
Okay, are they outside or in a house?
It's in a garage.
Poor lady.
Shortly after Austin began hallucinating, a 911 call was made to police in the area, alerting them of an attack in progress. A middle-aged woman was being brutally beaten in her garage.
Not a good time.
As her screams echoed throughout
Bad
the
time.
street. Police would arrive within minutes, where they shine their light in that same garage,
Horrible
only
timing.
to be met with a grisly discovery. Inside, a woman lay motionless, her
Think he
body
fucked up
hardly
his brain
recognizable.
with drugs? No, it wasn't. All of this was just a pure manic episode. A mental situation. I can't even say manic episode. It's just something.
Due to the assault that she had endured.
Something
While next
crazy
to her were two
happened.
men. One was lying limp, his body hacked into pieces, scattered about, and the other was wrapped around him, with his face buried in the man's abdomen. Officers approached, guns drawn, where they would finally catch a glimpse of the second man's face. It was Austin Harif, whose body was completely covered in blood, and his mouth filled entirely with flesh, spitting out chunks of the man's torso towards the officers before going back in for more, this time attacking his face. In that moment, Austin was quite literally eating this man, and eating him alive, as despite being cut into pieces and partially eaten, the man continued to scream, which made shooting Austin impossible without the risk of killing him too. The police yelled at him to stop, but nothing. They tased him, but nothing. They kicked him, they beat him, but still nothing. He just kept on eating. They even sent their canine in to subdue and attack him, but Austin somehow fought it off. In that moment, it was as if Austin were truly invincible. It wouldn't be until officers got a handcuff around him and the entire unit pulled together that they were finally able to drag Austin off of the man, ending the ordeal once and for all.
This one's so
When Austin was
messed up,
sprinting
dude.
into the night, that light that he was running towards was actually an open garage in a residential neighborhood, where inside a woman named Michelle Stevens had been relaxing and watching television, waving to the passing neighbors, until she saw Austin sprinting towards her. There was nothing she could do, as without provocation, he brandished a pocket knife and began attacking her mercilessly, before turning his attention to her husband, John Stevens III, who desperately tried to intervene. At some point in the scuffle, neighbor Jeffrey Fisher would hear the commotion and immediately run over to help, only for Austin to turn to him and warn him that he didn't want any of this, before lunging after him, stabbing him too multiple times. Jeffrey managed to escape by slamming Austin's head into the ground, partially cracking his skull, but somehow the young man got right back up and continued to fight as if nothing had happened. And recognizing the grave danger, Jeffrey fled to his home where he called the police.
He beat her up. I ran over there. I'm bleeding profusely here at the moment.
Okay.
I don't know what happened.
All right. Can you tell me if she's conscious or is she unconscious?
Well, my wife's looking at my back and it appears I got punctured.
Yes, Dad. In the neck, in the head. Three.
Oh my God.
Who would arrive soon after and eventually restrain Austin, but not before he had ended the lives of Michelle and John Stevens, both of whom were eventually pronounced dead on the scene.
Oh, dude, this gives me freaking chills, man. I feel so nauseous after this one.
Today, I'm gonna be talking about fitness.
Austin's channel
I
gets
didn't know
a
he had the
front row
YouTube
seat to
channel.
a man's descent into madness.
At all.
But even watching it back today with all the red flags, the idea that he could be capable of something like this just seems so shocking. Which begs the question, why did he do it? Well, the attack itself was entirely unprovoked. He had never even met the couple, and the couple had never even spoke to the man. And given what could only be described as his superhuman strength in that moment, many would assume that this was the case of drug use gone wrong, with it having shades of a similar case that happened not too far away.
I was
People
it bath
behaving
salts?
strangely
Yeah.
and showing what appears to be superhuman strength. Over the weekend, Rudy Eugene attacked a 65-year-old homeless man, chewing off most of his face.
But contrary to this belief, it was determined that during the attack, Austin was not under the influence of any hard drugs, and instead only had tiny trace amounts of alcohol and THC in his system, but not nearly enough to cause the violence that transpired that day. Rather, experts claim that this was the case of an
he
acute
wasn't on
psychotic
drugs, Chad.
episode, with court documents shedding more light on Austin's mental health during that moment, where he would account his visions of these creatures and all the other delusions he had been experiencing. And even
Like, you would think, like, I'm pretty certain I said this in the Ballin video as well. Like, you would think his parents or someone would hear him talking about this crazy shit and be like, hey, maybe we should check something out. Maybe we should make sure he's okay. Get him some therapy. Get him some health. You know?
even though he was
I mean, obviously, it seems like he lives in an okay neighborhood and has, you know, enough, I'm sure enough insurance just to get some damn help. But no,
never
they
given
didn't.
proper help for what was eventually determined to be his schizophrenia. His parents clearly
Yep,
recognized
there
that
it
he
is.
could be a danger to himself and to others, with his mother even calling the police after he had ran away from the restaurant that night.
Police Department Lunch Recorded. This is Chrissy.
So instead of just getting him help, you just let him go crazy and then just call the cops when he walks out. Great parenting. This is some great parenting right here. Wow.
Yes, I don't know how to do this. My son, he's kind of taken off, and I'm concerned about his own safety.
But the only problem was, it was just a bit too late.
Oh, she called 4 hours after.
Due to the results of Austin's drug test, it was determined that he was not of sound mind when the crime was committed, and that he would not have been able to consciously control himself, leading to the court's decision that he would not serve any jail time, and rather, he was placed in a mental health facility.
Well, I mean, that's good. That's good.
Where he'll remain until he's deemed safe to assimilate back into
But I still think he deserves something. I don't know. Like, even if he was a mental, like, you know, in a schizophrenic state, that, I don't know. He definitely, I mean, getting him the mental health help first is definitely good, but I still think
society.
Psych ward is essentially prison. I guess it's true. I don't really know too much about psych wards to say anything on it, so.
Now it's time to walk away. I hope you enjoyed your stay. Did you laugh or cry or maybe subscribed? I'll thank you either way. You know I will miss you. I hope you return. Tell your friend or your mother to get me more views, please.